Hello and welcome to today's video. This is going to be the reader problems tag. I came across this video many years ago now on Ariel Bassett's channel. I will link the video that I originally saw this in down below. To prepare for this video, I have gone to find the original creator. The original creator was Tiffany at About to Read. I can't find any video links that are still available. They all go to error pages and I can't find the channel. So if the channel does still exist but it's like changed names or changed URL or something like that, let me know down below. But unfortunately it doesn't seem like the channel it was originally created on does still exist. But yeah, that is kind of like the basics of what we're doing today. We're doing a fun tag that I'm really interested and excited to do. So there are 11 questions total and I'm literally going to tell you the question and give you my answer, and that is about it. Question number 1. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? For me this is very simple. Like, my TBR game just works perfectly. So if you aren't around here, my TBR game I play every month to pick out my TBR. It gives me 6 books most months and it's quite specific prompts. That means I need to pick books to fulfill them. So I'd honestly just play that. It really narrows down the options. So no matter how many books are on my TBR, it narrows down my immediate options to around 6, and that's just perfect for me. That means I can still mood read slightly depending on the books that I've got, but it narrows my focus down. And honestly, even if I didn't make videos, I still feel like I'd use that TBR game to help me pick what to read every month. Question number 2. You're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? If I'm not loving a book, as in it's not good, and I'm not loving it as in I'm not having fun, I will DNF. However, if it's one or the other, I potentially won't, and I think I'd probably push through if it was a good book, I just wasn't having fun, or if it was a fun book, it just wasn't necessarily good. I'm okay reading a bad book if it's fun, and I'm okay reading a not fun book if it is good, but I don't want to read a book that's bad and not fun. Obviously bad is subjective and based on my own personal reading tastes, but I mean, personally I've been giving multiple books in the series 5 stars, but I have been reading the Zodiac Academy series and I don't think they're the best books, but I absolutely love them. It's so much fun. So like, that's what I mean by like, it could be bad based on like, you know, objectively what I think is good, bad, obvious, not obvious, but I still love it. And then in terms of not fun but good, a lot of that is like the non-fiction that I'm really interested in. Oftentimes it's not fun, it's super heavy, it's super depressing, it's not fun, but objectively it's a good book and I will still read it. So yeah, that's kind of, you know, if it's not fun and not good, we're DNFing. If it's one or the other, we'll push through. Question number 3. The end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try and catch up, and how? It depends. So I'm not going to go out of my way and buy books that will make it easier for me to complete my reading challenge. However, I do have quite a large own TBR already. So if I'm, say, less than 10 books behind where I'd like to be, then I would pick a few graphic novels, maybe a few poetry collections, maybe a couple of just like really short novellas, something like that from my own TBR that I'm interested in. Like, I already own them, I'm genuinely interested in them, but I'd prioritise reading quite a few short ones to catch up. If I'm more than 10 behind, that to me is like a lot. So I'd say I'd probably not actively try and catch up to it. Like, I wouldn't go out my way to try and catch up, but I'd still kind of be like secretly hoping that I'd manage it somehow. 4. The covers of a series you love do not match. How do you go? I don't care. Like, I know that's bad, but I really don't care. It's not something I've cared about. I think just because when I first started getting books, like 10 to 15 years ago, it wasn't something that was within my control, so I just never really had much of a care about it. Now I'm older and I'm an adult and I like buy my own books, I do try and get them to match because I do think it looks like nicer on the shelves when the book covers are matching, or more the book spines really. Don't care too much about the cover if the spines match, are all good. But I still have a lot of books from my like teen years that don't match, and I really don't mind. Also, even as an adult now, I still love a charity shop bargain. So I'd rather pay £1 for a book and get it from the charity shop and not have it matched than pay, it's about £15 for an ebook at the moment, which is shocking. But yeah, I'd much rather pay £1 and have it not matched than 15 for it matching. Like, yeah, I'd love a bargain and I'll still get it even if it won't match. Actually, the perfect example of this is the first 3 books in the Graceling series. I got all 3 of these from the charity shop and they don't match at all, but I love that I went and hunted them. So I think I originally got them because there was meant to be some sort of read-along happening, so I was really keeping my eyes open. So I got Graceling in like this edition, which I don't even know what this edition is. Like, it doesn't say anything, but it doesn't look like how the editions looked around the year that this one was published. So I've got this edition of Graceling, and then books 2 and 3 are in a similar edition to one another but don't match the first one, but they are quite similar. There is a edition of Fire that has the character more zoomed in. There is edition of Bitter Blue that has the character more zoomed out, so like the actual poses of the characters aren't 100% matching, but like this to me is close enough to matching. Like, if I didn't know there were other editions, I would think these matched, so like that doesn't matter to me. But those are all different. And then from books 4 onwards, they're completely new. Like, you can't get any editions like this. They've been completely recover designed and they all look like this. And this is one of my favourite series ever, and I don't care. I love each and every one of these so much because they all mean different things. Like, yeah, okay, I'm really happy that any future books that are coming out are going to match this and they're going to look pretty together, and like this is nice. But honestly, like, I have such fond memories of finding these and like reading these for the first time and reading this one for a second time through as well, that like, yeah, I will never swap these out. Like, I will never go out and get these 3 in this edition because that's not what I want. 5. Everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. Who do you bond over your shared feelings with? Honestly, I go on Goodreads. I go to whatever rating I'm giving the book and I look for other reviews of that rating that make me feel like, even if it's a minority, there are others, and I just read those reviews. And then the other thing I'll do is just rant to my boyfriend, who will pretend to understand what I'm going on about and just egg on my rant. And if I really don't like a book and everyone else is loving it, he'll just pretend he's totally on board. So like, honestly, both of those things, reading reviews I agree with and ranting at my boyfriend, like, they're just, yeah, that's what I do. 6. You're reading a book and you're about to start crying in public. How do you deal? Either stop reading it or just cry. I'd assess the situation. Restaurant, I'd stop reading. It's quite public and quite a lot of like social norms that I feel like are considered in a restaurant. However, public transport, I just go for it. Check out tissues first, but just go for it. So yeah, I just assess where I actually am and decide, like, yeah. Question number 7. A sequel for a book you loved just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book? Skip the sequel? Try and find a synopsis on Goodreads? Crying frustration. For me, if it's only been a year or 2 since I read the book, I would probably remember it with some prompting, so I will look up a plot summary online. But if that plot summary isn't enough to like spark within me and remember it, then I'll go ahead and like reread the book first. So yeah, if a plot summary is enough, great. If not, I get to reread. Question number 8. You do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people nope when they ask? Oh, it's actually really like tabbed up and wrote in with like personal thoughts. But do you want me to help you check your library and see if they've got it? Or if not, I'd be happy to keep my eyes open when I'm in the charity shops and see if I can find you your own copy, which is quite a nice way to say it, I think. And I think that would be the only reason that I wouldn't want people borrowing books, to be honest. And I also think it's good to, you know, especially people who I feel are people likely to borrow my books are people who don't read as much, so reminding them that they can like go to their library and get whatever they wanted is always good. And also, like, I'd buy most of my books at charity shops. I feel like a lot of people won't look out for them, like even if they are people who go to charity shops. Like, books isn't always something that you go looking for, so I'll just be like, oh yeah, that's cool, we can check your library, or I can keep my eyes open at the charity shops and get you on. when I next see it. I've never had any issues, honestly. Most people in my life who would ask to borrow a book, I would just say no if I didn't want to. Like, it'd be a couple of close friends and family, and if I really didn't want to lend them a book, I'd just be like, no, I don't want to. But most of the time I'm happy to let people borrow my books, but I do stamp them. I have a little stamp that says Library of Jay and Heather, and I also have a spreadsheet. Oh, this is gonna sound so geeky, but like I have a spreadsheet, and whenever anyone has a book from me or Jay, because we like keep all of our books together, it goes on the spreadsheet who has it and when we gave it them, and when they bring it back they get taken off the spreadsheet. So yeah, if there's ever a book that I don't know where it is, I just check the spreadsheet. I don't know. It's always been fine so far. I'm sure at some point I will hate someone who doesn't bring a book back, but for now we're all good. 9. Reading ADD. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? I blame the books. It's the book's fault for being wrong. There's nothing wrong with putting down books. If I'm not feeling them, I'm not feeling them. Like, maybe they're not books for me at all, or maybe they're not books for me right now. That doesn't matter. I'll either pick up something I'm super excited about, you know, and if that still doesn't go right, then I'll reread a favourite. Rereading a favourite is such a great thing. Like, I often only do it when I'm ill and like can't concentrate, so I'll like put an audiobook of favourite books on. But actually rereading favourites is one of my favourite things. So yeah, like I would very easily pick up a favourite and that would get me back into the reading swing. Read something I'm super excited about, hopefully that would get me out of it. Reread a favourite. I've never had that not work. So that's as far as I get with my little cycles of things to go through. 10. There are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? I wrote down some numbers. So this is continuously changing for me. And some years I will buy a hell of a lot of books, and some years I'll buy a lot less. This year, in 2024, I'm really focusing on lowering my TBR. So I'm not buying many books, and I haven't gone too crazy. I create videos twice a year, end of December, start of January, end of June, start of July, and those will be my most anticipated books. And most of those I will pre-order, which maybe totals about 20 throughout the whole year that I like pre-order and buy because I'm just super excited about them. And then on top of that, this year I can tell you my exact numbers. So this year I've purchased 24 books in the first 4 months of the year. I know we are now in May, but I haven't got my like end of month statistics for May yet. So in the first 4 months of the year I brought 24 books. So if that continues at that pace, and that's about 75 books for the rest of the year, about 95 books total in a year, which yeah, I mean, I'm personally quite happy with that. That's a number I'm happy with. But I think for comparison, in the first 4 months of the year I've read 56 books. So I've purchased 24 but I've read 56. So I think bringing in like half or less than what I'm taking off my TBR is kind of where I'm wanting to go. And to be honest, I'm happy for it to continue at this pace, but also it always depends what my goals are for a year. Like this year my main goals are to lower my TBR. If I have different goals different years, then maybe buying more books will be something that I need to do to reach those goals. So like, I don't know, for this year, less than 100 books this year I reckon I'll buy. But there's only one way to know, and that'll be to wait till the end of the year and see what it is. Question number 11. After you've brought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? Well, once again, this is actually something that I've been tracking this year, so I can have a little look at my spreadsheet. What I've been telling myself when I'm buying books this year is that if I'm buying the book, I need to read it within 3 months of getting it. Because if it's going to be longer than 3 months, then I don't need to buy it right now. But this is also really varied. So some of the books that I've purchased I've read the same day. And then 2 books that I brought in January have just hit the 4-month mark. So they've actually gone over the 3 months I set them. So there are 2 books that have gone over that. So like, I would like to think that 3 months is quite an accurate thing within 3 months or less, but there are going to be a few outliers. But yeah, it's going well so far. We'll see how it goes the rest of the year, but so far it's going pretty good within 3 months. But previous to this year, it truly could have been any number. I still have books in my like TBR jar that I'm well aware that I got in like 2014, 2015. But again, that's something I'm working on this year. So that's kind of where we're at this year. And from now on, hopefully, if I buy a book, I will read it within 3 months. But I've got a lot of backlists that I need to get through to catch up on that from books that I've purchased previous to now. And those were all of the questions. I really hope that you enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun filming it. These were some really fun questions, some fun questions to think about. So yeah, let me know down in the comments if you're going to be doing this tag. I'd love to see other people doing it. I had a lot of fun with it and hopefully you enjoyed it too. Do give the video a like if you did like it, subscribe down below if you'd like to see more videos like this, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!